Hey horror fam, welcome back to my channel. Today we're diving into 3 little gems that are streaming free on Tubi. And let's just keep it real. Tubi has become the new Netflix for us horror weirdos. And I just mean that in the best way. Alright, so here's the movies we're going to be talking about. The first one is The Curse of the Sin Eater. It's a 2024 movie. It's a brand new indie movie from Justin Dutton. This is a mix of classic horror and inheritance curse. Next movie is He's Watching. It's a 2022 movie. It's a lo-fi found footage nightmare made during a lockdown. And the next one, it's called We Go On. It's a 2016 movie, a haunting exploration of death, fear, and afterlife. So grab your snacks and maybe keep the lights on and let's get into it. All right, so first up is Curse of a Sin Eater. So this movie centers around a struggling construction worker named Will, who makes a deal with a dying billionaire. He inherits this massive estate, money, power, influence, but there's a catch. Isn't there always a catch? Shit like that just don't fall in your lap without there being a catch. Anyways, turns out this old man was a modern day sin eater, a person who literally takes on the spiritual sins of others. Now Will hasn't just inherited the fortune, but he has inherited the spiritual baggage, and it's eating away at him figuratively and maybe even literally. So what works for this movie is the vibe. It's grimy, atmospheric, and deeply steeped in this like southern gothic flavor. And now it is a slow burn. It has a slow burn quality to the horror, but once it picks up, it starts feeling like you're taking a descent into darkness. All right, so another good thing about this movie is performance. It's solid across the board. The lead sells this emotional turmoil really well, and the supporting cast adds like texture to it without being distraction. There's a few sets that are just straight up haunting, especially, I'm not trying to spoil it, especially involving this confession scene that just spirals out of control. But here's the thing. It's not a traditional horror movie. It doesn't have the jump scares and the body count thrills. This movie is more like thematic. Some folks might find it a bit too slow or not scary enough in the like conventional sense. It's not trying to reinvent the wheel, but it's carving out something fresh with this sin eater folklore. All right, so the verdict is in. I feel like this is worth a watch, especially if you like your horror slow cooked and full of metaphors. So, next up is He's Watching. It's a found footage that feels like it's being filmed with a handheld camera in a fever dream. So, this movie is directed by Jacob Estet, and it stars as real life children, and it gives this eerie, homegrown authenticity. I cannot speak, but you know what I'm talking about. So, the premise of this movie is simple, but it's effective. So, it's two siblings, Iris and Lucas. They're stuck at home while their parents are hospitalized with some kind of illness, which is weird. I mean, I don't know. I'm just like, why are these two kids left by themselves where the mom is and dad is sick? But that's another thing. So this is a classic lockdown setup. They start filming like weird occurrences, like the doors creaking open, them seeing like figures in the background. But before long, the footage starts taking this disturbing turn. So now, if you're into like experimental horror films that blur the line between reality and nightmare, this one might be for you. It's really much a mood piece. The scares aren't always in your face, but they do sneak up on you. The dream logic, this disjointing editing, it kind of gives it like a childlike perspective. So one of the strongest aspects is how they use this found footage format. A lot of these movies that use like in this genre, it feels like a gimmick. But He's Watching, it sticks to the format. So however, this movie definitely is not for everyone. The first act is a slow burn, and the lo-fi aesthetics might come off as like it's like amateurish. I think I'm saying that right. Like an amateur, yeah. If you're not in like the right mindset of watching this movie, it doesn't always explain itself either, which is very frustrating. It might be really frustrating because it kind of got frustrating to me because I'm just like, what's happening. Like, it doesn't really explain itself. Still, I think this is a little underrated little oddity. If you want something short, strange, and like a DIY creepy, this one delivers. And finally, we have We Go On, which this one to me was the most emotional one out of the three. This one flew under the radar when it came out. But if you're into like the philosophical side of, horror, this is a must watch for you. All right, so this movie is about a guy named Miles who is completely paralyzed of the fear of dying. I'm talking about full on anxiety about dying, which I think people can relate to this because a lot of people are scared of dying. A lot of people are scared of not knowing what's after, what's after you die. And that's what I felt his fear was. So he ends up putting out an ad offering somebody $30,000 if they can give him proof of life after death. Of course, you got the flooded responses from psychics, ghost hunters, just all kind of weirdos. But then he meets somebody that might just be the real deal. So this movie is a slow burn, but in the best way. It's co-directed by Jess Holland and Andy Mission, who also made Witch in the Window. So if you've seen that, they're all into like atmosphere, dread, and of the cheap thrills. So what I love about We Go On, this horror is grounded in emotion. It's about fear and trauma and belief of how far we will go to get certainty. It's not gory, it's not loud, but it's existentially like terrifying. I think it's just because I think we can all relate to being scared of dying or scared of what's after dying. So that's what I feel like I really connected to this movie because I feel like we all share this fear. So visually, this movie is stripped down, but it uses its location very well. It got this drab suburban ghost story look for it with everything. Everything feels familiar, but just a bit off, just enough to be creepy. The ending, no spoilers, but it leaves you with questions and goosebumps. This is the kind of film that this lingers afterwards. Like it kind of stays with you for a little while after you watch it. So there you have it. 3 horror movies on Tubi that I feel like is absolutely worth your time. Curse of the Sin Eater is for fans of like the folklore and the slow burning doom. He's watching scratches that creepy found footage itch. And We Go On delivers a cerebral hunting experience that sticks with you long after the movie's over. So let me know in the comments if you guys seen any of these or if there's any like Tubi horror movie recommendations that you think I should check out. Hit that like button if you love discovering under the radar horror movies. And don't forget to subscribe to get videos every week. Until next time, keep it creepy.